Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton, episode 44, ahead of UFC Vegas 31. We got a good lineup for you. First up, we're joined by one half of the main event, Thiago Moises, to preview his fight against Islam Makhachev. Just should be noted, we did this interview before he's supposed to be the main event, so no questions around being the main event going 5 rounds, just because we did this literally about 3-4 days before Holloway pulled out and he got promoted to the main event. But this is obviously a big fight for Moises. He knows not a lot of people want to fight Islam. He jumped at the chance and he's really excited for this matchup. He thinks he can be the guy to kind of derail the hype of Makhachev, get a stoppage win, and start working his way up and through that top 10 of the lightweight division. Next, we're going to be joined by Max Griffin, who just fought on Saturday night. Really grateful for Max, always makes time for me, but got it done on Monday night, just before I was about to publish the show, or just about as package the show. But we just talked about his win over Carlos Condit, being in Vegas for that week, fighting on the McGregor card, and kind of what's next for him. Max obviously wants a little break, go on a vacation. Obviously, he had a kid earlier this year. He's fought 3 times since November, so he's looking for a little bit of a break, probably fighting near the end of the year, and he's hoping put him on pay-per-view, put him on a main card, maybe even a main event against one of these top 10, top 15 guys in the welterweight division. He thinks this win kind of propels his name a lot. 3-fight winning streak, just beating Carlos Condit. He thinks he deserves a big name or a top 15 guy if he doesn't get a big name. But he actually mentioned that big name was Robbie Lawler. He was planning on calling out Robbie Lawler. He had a call out for Lawler up until Lawler obviously gets booked against Nick Diaz. But that fight is just targeted, not signed yet. So perhaps that ends up being Max Griffin and Robbie Lawler. But really good shot with Max as always. We're next going to be joined by Billy Quarantillo to preview his short notice fight against Gabriel Benitez. Billy was always supposed to be on this card. He was supposed to fight Herbert Burns. Herbert Burns pulls out with about a month to go and steps in Gabriel Benitez, who's fresh off a TKO win over Justin James last December. First round stoppage, really good win. Before that, lost to Omar Morales, lost to Sadiq Youssef. He's kind of been up and down in the UFC. He's only really lost to really high-level guys, Andre Fili, Sadiq Youssef, Omar Morales, other than Enrique Barzola. But this is a big fight for Billy Quarantillo, coming off his first career loss in the UFC. Losing a decision to Gavin Tucker prior to that, a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC. He started his UFC run 3-0, beat Kyle Nelson, beat Spike Carlisle, beat Chip Kilburn after beating Camilla Kirk on the contender series to get the contract. He's kind of been through the road, been on The Ultimate Fighter, went on contender series, but we talk about his fight, kind of the importance and what a win does from the featherweight division. We also talk about his teammate Matt Frivola, who had just had a series of bad luck, 7-second knockout loss, fighting short notice replacement Terrence McKinney after everything kind of happened to him. But really good chat with Billy. And then we close things out talking to Miles Johns to preview his fight against Anderson Dos Santos. Miles obviously fighting since first time since September. He's kind of a bit surprised they never got him booked quickly. He's coming off that highlight reel knockout over Kevin Natividad on Halloween night. Got him back in the win column after losing to Mario Bautista. Dos Santos submitted Martin Day in November, snapped a 2-fight losing streak. So this is a big fight for bantamweight division. Miles knows he has to get past Anderson and has to do so likely by stoppage to start working his way back up and try to get into the top 15. But really good chat with Miles as always. But hope you all enjoy the show. Be sure to share the show, subscribe, and thank you all for listening.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Thiago Moises, who's got a big fight coming up here. Thiago, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, fighting Islam Makhachev, like Habib's kind of pupil, who he's kind of talked about. Were you surprised this is who you're fighting next?
Yes, actually, when I got the call, to fight Islam, I was very surprised. I was studying the names that I could fight next, but I didn't imagine that the UFC was going to offer me Islam, because I thought Islam was going to fight someone like closer to the top 5, to get a title shot. But I got really happy with the fight, and then I accepted the fight right away. I know a lot of guys didn't want to fight him. A lot of guys are running away from him, and I was very excited and very happy with this opportunity.
He's obviously a guy that's been hyped up. You kind of mentioned it. A lot of people don't want to fight him. Like, do you think it's because he doesn't have the biggest name and he's so dangerous is why people don't want to fight him?
I think people don't want to fight him because of his. I think they are afraid of his grappling, his wrestling, and I think they are just afraid of that, And he's not a very. I think he's a big name. I just think people are afraid of his grappling.
obviously he is a wrestler, but you're kind of known for your jiu-jitsu. Do you think you're kind of off your back is kind of where you could put him in some dangerous positions?
Yes, I think my game matches well against his game because I'm a good grappler as well, and I fight well against my with my back on the mat, from my back. As you guys could see, my fight against Michael Johnson, I got the helicopter armbar. I have a lot of submissions from my back. This can like open up spaces, for a submission and yeah, for scrambles and yeah, I think our style matches really well.
Your striking is very underrated. Like you had a lot of good moments of that Bobby Green and Hernandez fight. Like, do you think people overlook your striking quite a bit?
Yeah, I think people just they thought that it was just a grappler. They thought this guy, if he wants to beat Bob Green, he needs to submit Bob Green. If this guy wants to beat Hernandez, he needs to take the fight to the ground. I just showed on that fight that I'm a complete fighter as well.
You obviously come from a good camp at ATT. Like, and I know Poirier's guy you work with. He's obviously coming up for a fight the week before. He's like, how important has that been? Where you're in camp with him, you guys are kind of going for around that same date.
That's very good. A lot of guys they at ATT, have big fights coming up. So everybody in a great energy. Great atmosphere at the gym. Everybody training hard, everybody pushing each other. So it's great. Surrounded by great-minded people.
What's kind of the energy at ATT like right now? Because you obviously had Poirier's big win. You had Moraes knockout Demetrius Johnson. Like, you guys are picking up a lot of big wins right now.
Yeah, I think just hard work, and very good teammates, always helping each other during training, always getting better. We always picking new tools from each other because everybody has a different game, so we can add up a lot of tools, for each other's game. So if I go like Pedro Munoz, he can like help me with my guillotine. Adriano Moraes can help me with my jiu-jitsu. We have a great wrestlers. So every day we're on the mat, we're learning something. I think that's why we have a lot of success.
Do you think Islam is probably the most skilled guy you have fought, or do you think that still goes to Beneil?
I think they are pretty close, but I think Beneil, it's more dangerous on the feet and has better jiu-jitsu than Islam. But Islam has better wrestling than Beneil, So I think they both has the strengths and yeah, I think they are pretty close. But I think Beneil is the most dangerous guy.
Do you think Islam's gonna want to try to strike with you just because of how dangerous you are on the ground, or do you think he's just gonna try to take you down like he does to most of his opponents?
I think he's gonna try to do the same thing he does, like on all his fights. He's gonna try to striking for maybe for a while, then making me forget about the takedowns. Then he's gonna try to do the takedowns. That's what I think he's trying. He will try to do.
With you though, like, are you not even comfortable? Like, are you comfortable even if he does take you down? Because it seems when Islam takes people down, they're in such a hurry to get back up. But with you, like, you could end the fight off your back. Where I don't know if you'd want to be like scrambling and all that because you might be better on the ground than him.
Yeah, of course. I don't want to be on bottom. It's not very good to be on bottom in MMA, especially punches. And especially a guy like Islam. He has really good control. He can control you, but I have the skills and I have what I got, to fight from my back. So I think that's what makes me a dangerous fight for him.
How do you see yourself getting the win?
Man, I see myself winning this fight by stoppage, or either a TKO or a submission.
Do you think the guillotine is a very likely one where maybe you could catch his neck on the inside because he's going to shoot pretty often?
Yeah, maybe that can happen. Also, I saw a couple of his fights. He trusts a lot on his neck. He gives his neck to get the takedown. That can be dangerous, but you don't want to also get a try guillotine and end up on the body for 4 or 5 minutes. That's not a smart move.
What do you think a win over Islam does for your career? Because you have like guys like Khabib and Daniel Cormier talking about, oh, this guy's the best lightweight. He's a future champion. A lot of people don't want to fight him. He's ranked in the top 10. Like this would be a big win for you.
Yeah, after I beat Islam, I will be close to the title. I think I'm gonna be right in the mix for a title fight. A couple more wins. And I'll be fighting for the title.
I think you're a guy, like, I didn't even realize how young you were. Like, you were only 26. Like, do you still think you're not even reaching your like full potential in MMA?
Yeah, yes, for sure. I think like I'm getting better every day. I'm getting stronger every day. After every fight, I'm getting better. So I think like 5 years from now, 6 years from now, I'm gonna be much better than I am today.
How much have you talked to Poirier about his fight with Khabib? Just because it's very similar styles with Khabib and Islam.
Yeah, they have similar styles, and yeah, I talked with Justin, about this. I picked some things that he did on his camp to fight Khabib, and yeah, just exchanging knowledge and helping each other.
You're a guy that likes to be active, so everything goes your way here. Like, are you hoping for at least one more fight this year?
Yes, that's my plan. My plan is win this fight and then one more fight this year. So 2 more fights this year.
Would you have a name in mind? Because a win over Islam, like, you would get a lot of hype, and I think you could really call your shot.
Yeah, I am very so I'm very focused on Islam right now. I'm not thinking about anyone else. Islam is a pretty big name, so I'm just focused on this guy right now. All my energy is focused on him. But after I beat him, I think like I should be doing like main event. Some with some big name.
Obviously, Islam has a lot of skill, but do you kind of think he is a bit like overhyped just with everyone calling him like his future champion and that Habib relationship, that's what kind of makes people too not want to fight him?
Not really. I think he's a really good fighter. Really good grappler, but he has a lot of hype behind him. So yeah, we will see on July 17th.
Fighting in front of no fans, like, what's that going to be like? You've done it before, but like, are you a bit disappointed you're not on one of these pay-per-view cards in front of fans?
I am happy with whatever UFC offers me. Fighting for the fans is awesome. Also, I was on UFC here in Jacksonville. Was amazing. I wish we could have fans there because the atmosphere, the energy. It's amazing. I can't wait to fight with fans. So, but this is like sparring. So there's no people cheering and. Yeah, both is good.
You're fighting in the smaller octagon. How do you think that's going to impact the fight? Because it just makes you guys fight a lot closer, and it's less room. And like Islam will obviously like that probably a bit better.
Yeah, the cage is small. I felt that my last fights. I thought the cage was smaller than I would like to, but it is what it is. The fight is the same with a small cage or bigger cage. I don't think that's makes any difference.
Just last thing, like, I've watched a bunch of your interviews, and you always are trying to improve your English. Is that something that you realize like that's going to help you out a lot in the UFC? Is if you can like become a bigger star?
Yes, for sure. We have to speak like we need to speak good English. So we can mark ourselves. So UFC can push ourselves better, because UFC is such a big market, like so many countries. And we need to fight, win fights, but we need to speak English also. It's very important.
How have you learned it? Or do you have like a teacher, or do you just like watch TV and whatnot?
I moved to the US when I was 17, so 9 years ago. And I used to live just with the Americans, you know. I used to live in a fighter's house at from ATT, so that's how I learned it. I
All right,
used to
well,
live. I had like a couple Americans that were my roommates, you know. So some of them like UFC fighters now, like Kobe, Mirsad Bektik, you know, they were my teammates, and then that's how I learned English.
all right, well, Thiago, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Max Griffin, whose face doesn't even look like he got into a fight on Saturday. Max, how's it going?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, not as bruised as a few other fights been in. So, but I just want to start like fighting Carlos Condit, like we talked before. Like this is a guy you looked up to. Now that the fight's over, like, what was that kind of experience like getting to share the octagon with him?
Man, it was so amazing. Like being in there, and when we first both walked out, and we were about to scrap, he's looking at me, mugging. I'm looking at him. He's like, "Fuck yeah!" You know, it was fighting a real soldier, fighting a real vet, a legend, bro. Fighting a guy that, like, I didn't know how much of a fanboy I was till after the fight. You know, I actually ended up going to his room. We hit a Brandon Gibson 6-gun and said, "Hey, man, can we get a picture with a man?" So I went backstage, or not backstage, but to his hotel room. Met his son, really nice, and just being in there with Carlos Condit. I'm like, oh my god, this is Carlos Condit right here. Like, I'm such a fan, bro. And dude, looking back, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Him with like Thiago Alves, like the guys at the welterweights that bash always. Yeah. So I ended up having him sign my gloves. We ended up trading jerseys. I signed my jersey, gave it to him, he gave me his. What a moment, man. It was a great night.
Did anything he did surprise you in there?
No. He could take a better punch than I thought he'd be able to take. I heard him a few times and hit him with some good stuff, but he's so good. He's so resilient, and he's out of there.
I don't know if you know this, but you became the first person since Robbie Lawler to knock down Carlos Condit. Like, that's how durable he's in. And that Lawler fight was like years ago.
Nice. I didn't know that stat. The stat that I did hear, though, they said I'm the only other person to outstrike him other than George St. Pierre. That's the stat I heard. So that was pretty cool. But the first knockdown since Lawler, huh? I'll take it.
And he's had a bunch of fights since Lawler. It's not like it's only been like 2 or 3. There's been he might be like 7 to 8 since then. But with the win over Condit, like he's a massive name. Like, where do you think that puts you in the division?
Man, I want to fight these guys, bro, and I've been telling people, and I'm coming. I'm ready. Honestly, now, like, I want the title, bro. Like, once I get a number by my name, I mean, I'll fight everyone ahead of me. Like, I haven't turned down a fight yet, and I want to fight everybody. You know, whoever I need to fight, and that's who I fight. Wrestler, jiu-jitsu, boxers. Like, I fought them all. I fought all kinds of guys. So, we'll get a plan and beat them. Like with Carlos. I didn't watch 1 second of tape, you know. My team did that, and dude, with my team, we could beat everyone. Like, different game plans for different guys and different strategies at different times. Like, I'm here, bro. I'm here, dog.
Something I did want to ask you about is when it went to the scorecards, like, how confident were you? You've been on the
all
wrong
the way. I
lot
totally
of
knew I wanted to
personally.
fight. Oh, dude, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Had him hurt in the first. Could have been a 10-8. And the second, you know, he brought everything he had. I knew he would coming out the second. I haven't even got to rewatch the fight, but remember in the second round, he tried to give me everything he has. You know, and I took it, and pretty even on the score on that one. But I still think I won that round. And then on the third round, I dominated him and get a good takedown. I stuffed all his takedowns. I was 1 for 1 on takedowns. I was at the 100%, so they're going to add that to my score. They said that I'm the 4th highest takedown percentage as active welterweight. So the 100% should add a little more to those stats.
Was the game plan to grapple him? Because for me, I thought you would go out and try to wrestle him kind of early. Because if you look how Condit's lost all of his fights, it's just getting out wrestled. I thought you were going to be the better wrestler than him.
Yeah, I mean, the game man wasn't just a wrestle. I wanted to knock him out. I want to strike with him. I mean, the pain was wrestling if he were there. If it was there, I wasn't trying to force the wrestling. But anytime he got in a little exchange on the ground or a little grappling exchange, I felt good. He was real squirrely. If that makes sense. But it wasn't no kind of danger. Or, when I did get a takedown, I had him. I think north-south busting him for a little bit. But he's squirrely. But the plan wasn't just to take him down. But if we were close and we were on him, then yeah. But I feel like the calf kicks and shit were successful. The first round, I kept the calf kick the shit out of him, and that slowed him down. His punches, his pop. Then we just really went to work from there. I was faster than him, so kind of second round, just kind of moved around, listened, picked my shots, and then third round we turned it up. It was great.
When's the ideal time frame for you to return?
I honestly want to go on like a vacation.
Yep.
To keep it real. Like, I've been so busy. I don't think I fought like this much. I mean, I'm sure we could do the time, but it was November, March, and July. To me, that's a lot. It's not like Kevin Holland fighting 6 times in a year, but I think that was 3 times in a year if you do August, July.
Yeah. It's like what, 3 times in like 7-8 months, something like that.
Yeah. So it's a lot for me. But yeah, man, I seen a vacation since the baby. We haven't really had a time to slow down or fucking. I just been training, training. So, but I'm ready to go, man. I'm thinking later in the year. My body, dude, my legs and my arms are so sore. Like, I kicked him so many times, bro, and my legs are like pipes. Like, my ankles, bro. My shins have held like fluid in them. I've been putting my Normatec on. I just left cryotherapy. Just left getting me going. I got like a massage in my legs. I got body work. Like, now I'm going to see my chiropractor. Like, I need to put this body back together, brother. But later in the year, I'm totally down.
Is there a name in mind, or is it just someone in that top 15?
Yeah, not anymore. There was. I mean, Robbie Lawler, I wanted to fight him. Yeah. But then I saw that they took Nick to give Nick Diaz that fight. So that's what I was going to do. But it's all good. I want to fight Cerrone, but he's 55. So I don't know, man. Just once I get a numbered guy, then it's a wrap. I'm literally going to be done with him in a row. So we'll see what happens, bro.
For you, like, what was fight week like for you, being on this massive McGregor card, like the fight right before the pay-per-view, like so many eyes on you in the fight?
Honestly, the morning was hard for me, bro. I woke up like crying like a baby, like snot nose, like out of my sleep, bro, in the morning on fight day. I had a dream how I was like so thankful for everything, and I was like in my dream I was at my own job, and there's like thousands of people like, man, we got your support, we got your back. All these kids that I knew, like, I was like overwhelmed with like gratitude, bro, and I'm like crying in my dream, like, and then I wake up and I'm crying, and I can't stop. I'm like feeling like a little bitch, But it's funny. The last time I cried like that was 10 years ago when I fought this guy, Jamie Hara. He's a legend out here. He's in Bellator. He's like a 5 different weight class gladiator challenge champion out here, like one of my jiu-jitsu coaches. But back then he was 38-10, and I fought him when I was 3-0. That was West Coast Fighting Championship 1. That was like they had to talk to the commission and like beg the commission to let him fight me because I only had 3 fights. And I ended up knocking him out in like 45 seconds. And that was the last time and that fight like blew me up to like my local pro days. So it's the same kind of thing, man, where I fought a legend later that night, but on the biggest stage, like, ever. I guess that gate or all the stuff, that was the second biggest pay-per-view ever.
Yeah.
That's what this announced behind Habib, Connor. So many eyes. Nevada, or Dana said that Nevada, that's with the governor. There hasn't been that busy of a weekend in 100 years. They had Garth Brooks sold out, with 80,000 in the stadium right next door. They had Justin Bieber. They had Chappelle. They had everything was sold out. The UFC obviously in seconds. It was so crazy out there. So to be part of that with the energy, and man, Yuck Mouth from the Loonies made me my own personal walkout song that I used out there. It's on Spotify. Check it out. Max Payne, yeah, by Yuck Mouth and the Loonies. But yeah, check it out on Spotify, you guys. It was so crazy, bro. It was insane. It was bananas. A whole bananas night, bananas opportunity.
Just two more things. Like, after experiencing that, like, are you gonna only ask me on pay-per-views? It's hard to go back to the Apex if someone told me after that.
I know. We'll see. You know what? I think they're going to have me with fans, bro. I think they're going to, I want to do a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? I want to let me get a main card spot. Let me get a main event. Let me fight 5 rounds. You know, I want to fight. Okay, it's coming, bro. It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
And you obviously traded jerseys with Condit. Like, what did you guys say to each other after the fight? Because Condit is like one of the nicest guys for how like vicious he is in the octagon. Like, he's one of the nicest guys in this sport.
Yeah. You know, he said much respect. He said I'm really good. Good plan. Much respect, man. It was a war with a legend. So it was just an honor. Like I said, I didn't know how much of a fan I was until after I beat him and was in his room. I'm like, no way, I'm fucking standing here talking to Carlos Condit right now. You know, that's what it hit me and I really turned all that off, all of it, every fucking hair of that. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I did. Shit, or it could have been different. I'm glad I did.
Well, just last night, I had a bunch of my friends over to watch the card, and their biggest takeaways were Tui Vosic's doing the shoeies, O'Malley, and yourself. Like, they were a bunch of them are just casual friends, and they didn't even know who you were, and they were like, this guy's good. Like, he's just beating the brakes off of this guy. Is that what they were thought about you?
Hey, fuck yeah.
All right, but Max, man, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this.
All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Billy Q, who's back in action here July 17th. Billy, man, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, no problem. Obviously, you're supposed to fight Herbert Burns. That was obviously, I thought that was a really good fight, a big name, just because he's Gilbert Burns' brother. Like, when he pulled out, like, how disappointing was that for you?
It's it is what it is. As Dustin Poirier or Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier have said, I'm happy that they gave me a long time. It wasn't like last minute. I see some guys that, just can't catch a break. My boy Matt Frivola, he's had 5 opponents change, 5 fight weeks in a row. So it is what it is. I was excited for Herbert Burns too. He's a big name. I've seen him obviously a few times fight. And but no, it's just it is what it is. We're in the UFC. Whoever they want me to fight, especially with over a month out, wasn't a big deal. So it's time to move on to Gabriel Benitez.
Yeah, you mentioned Matt. Like, he's just had a ton of bad luck lately. So on the flip side, like, how much better is it that you have over a month? So you could still kind of get not a full training yet, but you still get several weeks to work on Benitez.
Yeah, absolutely. We were obviously focusing on Burns Jiu-Jitsu. I was doing, hard Jiu-Jitsu rounds every single day, which I think we're going to continue to do that anyway. So, but it's just, going from like a right-handed fighter to a left-handed fighter, someone who likes to grapple to someone who likes to strike. It's I'm happy that they gave me a month because there's a lot of little details that Benitez does really well, just differently than how Herbert Burns fights. So yeah, having a month, and I think we specialize in, you give me enough time to dial it in against someone. That's usually when we do our best.
With Benitez, like, how much do you know about him? He's been in the UFC for quite a while. Fought a lot of tough guys like Feely,
Mhm.
Sadiq Youssef, like Jason Knight, like a lot of well-known guys.
Yeah, that's what I noticed right away, that he's been in the UFC since 2014. We're the same age. I think he's a few months older than me, but yeah, his UFC experience can't be overlooked. He's fought high level guys, and I'm just looking at it like that's the guy you got to beat. You want to be a top UFC guy, you got to get through Mowgli.
Your last fight, what you kind of take away from that one, losing to Gavin Tucker?
Yeah, a lot of things. I felt like I was on a 9-fight winning streak going into that, and when you're winning, it seems like you're doing everything right. Even though we were consistently working on new stuff, I just felt like I felt like the training camp went really really well, and then after the fight, I was like, oh man, like maybe you should have done this instead of that. Maybe you should have done this instead of that. So I think since I've had this long break away from it, I've had a lot of time to really work on what I needed to work on and get better at the things I'm good at already. So I think that you're going to see a whole new fighter. There's no film on this Billy Q that's coming into the cage July 17th.
How weird is it for you? Like, this is your 5th UFC fight, and 4 of them have been in front of no one. Like, other than your debut, like you've been going in front of no one. Like, everyone pictures the UFC walking out in front of sold out crowds and stuff, and 4 of your 5 have been in front of no one.
I know. Yeah, man. Thanks for the reminder. It's something that I was, after the last fight, we got on the pay-per-view, which I wanted to last time, but it was a pay-per-view with no fans. So I really wasn't in a position to demand anything. I was hoping that we got a fight with fans. So I'm just looking at this fight as, go out there, beat this guy. If you can go out there and beat Benitez, which I'm obviously planning on doing, that'll be like the reward for beating a high level fighter will be, listen, like we'll fight anyone next, but let's just please make sure it's in fans, because, I was in Arizona this past weekend, and, like when Nate Diaz came out, like that's the stuff that I dreamed about as a kid. Like Nate Diaz comes out and the whole crowd went nuts, and like it was like a concert. He's a rock star. So yeah, it's been it is what it is. Obviously, when I dreamed of getting in the UFC, it was with fans and people going crazy and celebrating with everyone after. But go out there and beat this guy, and I can almost guarantee they'd give me a fight with fans next.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because Benitez is a tough guy to finish. Like, only a few guys have finished him, like Feely, Youssef. Like, he went the distance. Omar Morales is a tough guy. Like, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, he's very hard to put away. So am I. So I'm definitely making sure my cardio is on point, my conditioning's on point. It's not a fight where I've had it before. It's not a fight I can just go out there and try to wear him down. I can't just try to break his conditioning, which I've been able to do against a lot of opponents. So I just got to be the better fighter. I got to be better striker. If I want to wrestle, I got to mix in the takedowns smart. If he wants to wrestle, I got to make sure that we don't end up in a position where he can beat me. He's obviously got good chokes. I got to avoid that. And I just think my higher fighter IQ and my perseverance is going to be what it takes. Being at 100%, I got to go out there and have a good weight cut and just do everything I can do to get this fight where I want it to go and get the finish.
What do you think a win over Benitez does for you, especially if you go out there and finish him? Because the guys that have gone to finish him are guys like Feely and or Youssef, who's a top 15 guy.
Yeah, it's I think I got a little caught up in like the, I'm gonna beat Gavin Tucker, and then I'm gonna be top 15 and this and that. It's almost like I almost want to just forget about the rankings right now and just fight like my life depends on it. There's nothing after this anyway. So go out there and beat this guy, and we'll see where the chips fall after. But I don't want to overlook him, so I'm not even like thinking about. I don't even care where they rank me after. I just know going out there, getting that performance bonus, performance of the night, whether it's a knockout, submission, fight of the night, anything that I have to do to get my hand raised is what I'm willing to do on July 17th.
You're a guy that you like to be active, like very impressive, because a lot of people were lucky 1 or 2 in, but your first fight's coming in the middle of July. Like, was this kind of hoping to be return sooner than this?
Yeah, I think, losing actually was a part of, a reason why I had to take a little bit of time off. I also got LASIK eye surgery. I got my eyes fixed, and that's been a nightmare throughout my career, whether I'm fighting with no contacts or, it's happened several times where I'd get one contact knocked out and then I could barely see, with being a fighter, it's probably the worst sense to lose. So I was able to get my eye surgery. I got married in March. Shout out to my wife, Brianna. Those are some big things that I wanted to do. I had to do that, that will help me further my career anyway. So I'm super excited to have that rest off, to really time to get better. And, I'm hoping to fight in July, and then I'm hoping to fight at least one more time after that. Planning going on my honeymoon after this fight, so I'm going to celebrate a little bit, and then I definitely want to stay active and hopefully get a big sold out fight towards the end of the year.
So hopefully you can get a bonus then to help pay for the honeymoon.
Yeah, of course, man. Bonuses are never a bad thing. So I'm, and that's always been my fight style. I'm always trying to make an exciting fight. What's the point of fighting and winning if the crowd's bored and they don't want to watch you fight again? I've always been an entertainer mentality first. Like I want people to like win, lose, or draw. Billy Q's got to be a fighter that they want to see. So it's always been what I try to do when I go out there.
Where are you doing your camp? Because I know you do a lot with Frivola. I know you do a lot in Florida. Like, are you staying in Florida for the rest now?
No, I'm actually. Great question, by the way, man. I know you're keeping up on me. I've been in Tampa these past couple months. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to Buffalo, where I grew up. I'm going to do a seminar there. So I'm going to teach a seminar. I'm going to get some training with those guys. I've worked with a bunch of those guys in Buffalo, and then I'm going to Long Island for the week to get in with the Ray Longo, Matt Serra camp, Frivola, my boy. He's got a bunch of guys there. I've met most of the guys there. It's just a really good training camp. I feel like I'm at home when I'm there. So I'm going to get a weekend with them, get some different looks, and then come back and finish my training camp here in Tampa.
Frivola's fight, like, how disappointing was that? Just because that guy cannot catch a break. I've talked to him before, like, all his fights, and I swear I talked to him. Then it's like 3 days later, it goes, he texts me, new opponent now.
Yeah.
He always gets new opponents. They just can't catch a break right now.
Yeah, man. It's just been it's a tough position being. I know people were like, oh man, it sucks for Frivola. We signed up for this. We know that could happen in any fight. Anytime we step in that ring, you could catch one punch early and take you out. So it's just really unfortunate how it happened, especially because I really like that matchup he had with Frank Camacho. It's like a right-handed striker. He's used to that. Like, nothing really could have surprised us. Getting Terrence the last minute, Terrence coming off a knockout win, being able to make the weight and being ready to go. I was a little worried about the fight, but I thought, if Matt could weather the storm early on, I think he would have taken him out. But man, you hesitate. He made one little mistake, and all it takes in this sport. And that's why, when you win, it's such a big deal. People freak out when they win a fight because this kind of stuff could happen. You could get knocked out right away. You could get, look at Jamal Hill, got his arm snapped, a fight that, he probably could have won too on the feet. So it's just, it's really upsetting, but he's going to bounce back. And when he does come back and beats on somebody, we will celebrate, because it is a big deal when you get wins at this level.
Yeah. And his 2021 is a terror. Like, he was supposed to fight Ottman Azaitar, which was a big fight. Mm-hmm. Day of the fight, it switches. Like, it's not even like you where you get a couple weeks. Like, he is like a day or two before the fights, his opponents are switching.
I know, man. It's nuts, man. It's something that we've dealt with at, as amateur fighters. It happens a lot more often because people aren't getting paid, so they'll back out. And then at the pro level, it happens all the time because it's a little bit of money on the line. At the UFC, I never would have thought like that would happen to someone over and over and over again. It's just really unfortunate luck. And I think it's going to swing back and hopefully he can go on a 3-4 fight win streak and get his momentum back.
Just last thing, I asked Matt about this too. I was I'm a friend's house who just having a couple drinks. We turned on Rough and Rowdy and you're out there cornering. What was your experience like cornering out there?
Oh man, yeah, it was a super fun thing to do with Rough and Rowdy. Shout out to Robbie Barstool, Octagon Bob. I've been working, talking to him, doing interviews for a couple of years now. It was fun, man. I didn't take the fight too seriously. I felt like Frivola's brother had it in the bag. And, if one of those guys want to fight and they want me to corner them, it's tough for me to say no. So we had a great time. We love those Barstool guys. We've all been stoolies for years now. So just to go do that and experience that, to meet Prez and Big Cat and all those guys, it was super fun. It was definitely a freak show in terms of like watching the people fight. I don't think anyone really, I think we were the only guys that actually like hit mitts before and warmed up. So it was cool. And we met a bunch of the fighters there too, that they still hit me up on Instagram. So it's pretty cool. So shout out to all the rough and rowdy guys.
I did hear Matt's brother's wife wasn't too happy with you guys that you brought him out to do that.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy that he was doing it. I think she's like a brain doctor. So she's not too pumped up about us fighting with him fighting and all that, but he didn't take any damage. So, and we had a great bachelor party. So it all worked out in the end. He was the champion. Matt had a great bachelor party. We all had a great time. So it worked out. It was okay.
All right. Well, Billy, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks for doing this.
No problem, man. Have a good one, man.
Yeah. All right. We're joined by UFC bantamweight Miles Johns, who's back in action July 17th. Miles, how's it going?
Going well, man. Just hanging out on my patio, catching some sun and fresh air and, chilling.
That's some nice Texas weather, it looks like.
Yeah, at least these past 2 days, man. Before, it's like you couldn't even step outside without sweating, but now at least we're getting some coolness in the evening. So
you're obviously coming back in July. Like timing wise, I thought this was a lot later than what you're probably looking for. Like, or was this the right time frame for you?
It was a little bit later. Then I guess, well, I mean, I've had a break in between some of my fights, but for me, it worked out because my third son was born. He's now 6 months old. And so for a little bit there, it was just getting pretty chaotic at home and stuff. I was still training really hard, but I feel like now he's starting to be able to be not really on his own, but he's more manageable now. And my wife can handle all three of them at the same time. So it was like the perfect time to start a hard fight camp because I'm gone a lot more during that time, and happy wife is a happy life. So I try to make sure things at home are okay and secure while I'm gone doing fight camp stuff.
Anderson Dos Santos, like, was this just who the UFC offered you?
Yeah, it's just who they offered me. I think it's a really good fight, though. I think it's a really exciting fight, a fan favorite fight. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, even though he only has 3 UFC fights, like he has a ton of experience. Like he fought Saeed Nurmagomedov on the regional scene. Like he was the first person to beat Ricky Simone and Titan to win the belt. Like although he doesn't have a lot of UFC fights, like he's been around for a while and fought a lot of high level guys.
Right. Yeah, he does. He has a lot of experience. So I mean, that doesn't really mean too much to me. It just kind of tells me that he's been in the game for a long time and he's got hit a lot of times. So we'll see how his chin is still holding up.
Your last fight, like obviously there's a ton of pressure on you coming off your first career loss. Like with that knockout, like have you gotten a lot more fans and followers? That was kind of a viral clip that went around.
Yeah, I have gotten some. After my first loss, I actually lost my Instagram. It got hacked crazily, and then I lost my car. So, yeah, I got hit from behind and it was totaled and stuff. So I was kind of just like losing everything at once. So I'm still growing my Instagram now, like in my social media and that, but it definitely blew up a little bit after that last win. I needed that to get back going with that. So
with this fight against Anderson, like who are the main guys you're working with? Because he's a really good grappler with some kind of underrated striking.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just all the same guys I've worked with at Fortis. Fernie Garcia has actually been a really big, good partner for me this camp. And then I was working with Damon for a while and Sada Wad actually in Bellator. He just fought in Bellator. He's a 155er, but he's been a really good partner for me. He really just pushes the pace and just he's another guy with a ton of experience and just knows how to be the perfect partner. So yeah, and then of course my younger brother Elijah and just our whole crew. Whatever, whether it's a striker, grappler, whoever we're fighting, we have somebody that can imitate that to the best of their ability. So,
do you think Anderson's even gonna want to strike with you for a little bit, or do you think right when the fight starts he's probably gonna shoot?
I think he's gonna come in and throw some of those wild overhand rights he throws, and then he's gonna be looking for the shot. I think he's gonna try to fill it out a little bit and then start trying to put some pressure on me. But I like that. I love playing that game. When you come in, I like to be there when you're not expecting it. And like kind of meet you before you get your shot off or right as you get it off. So yeah, I think he's gonna wrestle a lot and try to put pressure on me.
That first takedown attempt, like how big do you think that's gonna be? Because if you stuff it, I think that's gonna kind of lower his confidence that, oh, and now he's actually got to start standing with you.
It could a little bit, but Martin Day stuffed his first one pretty well. You know, he just came right into it and kind of sat him on his butt on that first takedown and stuff, and then he just kept going for it. You know, I think he's a tough Brazilian. You know, I don't think he has much quit in him. I think I could probably deflect 10 takedowns in the first 2 rounds, and he'll still be trying to do takedowns in the third. So I'm not gonna plan on him to kind of relent with that, but for me, it's just I grew up wrestling. You know, I've been wrestling my entire life. So if you're in there trying to dive for takedowns and stuff, that's perfect. That's just sounds like a fun night for me.
Do you think because of your last fight and the knockout you got that people are going to start overlooking your grappling and they're just going to keep looking at that clip and be like, oh, Miles is this striker and you just got to take him down?
I do, you know, I do, and that's kind of been the plan for a while. You know, where I was really just trying to. I enjoy striking. Honestly, I enjoy striking more than wrestling now. You know, I just really fell in love with it. But I've been like kind of holding off on much of my wrestling in my fights just because I wanted to have it in my back pocket always, and I wanted it to kind of be as a surprise to a lot of people. So I think they'll see a little bit of it more this fight, but then again, it might just be me deflecting his takedowns and trying to piece him up, and then people will still think, oh, we got to wrestle with him, and I still won't even need to pull out a lot of my offensive wrestling. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's I think he's well rounded as well. You know, he's had a ton of experience, so that's gonna play into that, just being well rounded and able to fight anywhere. But I feel the same way, so we'll just see wherever the fight goes.
How do you see yourself getting the job done? Because Anderson's like, it was kind of weird. Like all his regional fights where he lost, it was all by stoppage. Then he gets into the UFC and like he's taking big shots by like Andre Ewell and Nad Narimani, and like his chin was much better than what it was a couple of years on the regional scene where he was getting finished quite often.
Yeah, you know, I think he just kind of tapped into that. This is everything. Once you hit the UFC, you know, you kind of get that extra little boost. And I know he's seems like a spiritual guy. I mean, in Brazil, they put everything into it. They're fighting for their lives, you know. So I understand that, but I see it. I see it ending in a lot of ways. You know, I see me using speed and catching him when he's trying to land those big shots. I see him diving for some crazy takedowns and kind of catching an uppercut when he's coming in. I see myself hurting him, and then he's doing sloppy shots and finding a guillotine too, because I have guillotine wins over strong wrestlers. So I visualize a lot. I've been in my house visualizing late at night, and I can just see it playing out a lot of different ways, but each way is with me getting my hand raised, and I see a finish coming.
Yeah, I actually thought like the clear to me, like I think this fight ends just because the way Anderson shoots, like his neck is exposed a lot. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you can hop onto a guillotine and choke him out that way.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I mean, I know he's a black belt, but if you stick your neck out there, anybody can get choked, you know. So yeah, that'd be awesome. I see that happening.
Well, what do you think a win over Anderson does for you and puts you in the division? Because bantamweight is so stacked. Like you need like couple wins in a row to even like sniff that top 15.
Yeah, it's so stacked. I think it just keeps me rolling. You know, I'm not really too focused on like exactly where it puts me. You know, there's lots of guys out there who would be options to fight after this fight. And I'm just focused on winning this next one, you know, finally getting a 2-fight win streak under my belt in the UFC and stuff. And we'll just see. I think win this one and then win one more good fight, and I could be just right there in that top 15 area, you know, kind of seeing how things play out.
Are you someone that likes to call someone out? Like I know you've done it before. I know sometimes it's just whoever the UFC offers, but a big win here, like me, like are you thinking of already maybe calling your shot, or is it whoever the UFC offers you?
I'm thinking about it, and I'll have to discuss that with my coach.
Yeah.
You know, I would call people out a lot, but my coach is just kind of like just do your job and trust me and trust the process and stuff. And it's worked out for us. You know, it's worked out really well. So I'll just see whatever he says. I'll throw a couple names at him and see what he thinks, what we should do with that, and go from there.
The smaller octagon at the apex, do you think that's going to play any factor in the fight?
It's going to have a little bit of a factor. I fought twice in there, though, because the Contender Series, and then my last fight was in there. And Kevin was a pressure guy, you know, so I was training that a lot, just being in that small octagon and be able to move and circle and stuff in that octagon. So I think it's gonna have an effect, but not too much, you know. I've already planned on him coming forward and putting pressure on and stuff like that. So it just means I'll get to him quicker as well. So
everything goes your way July 17th. Like, are you hoping for a quick turnaround, or are you going to take some time off to be with the family?
I would like a quick turnaround. I prefer, you know, at least 2 months or 2 months, and then find out a 4-week notice fight or something. So like 3 months in between, 2-3 months. But I would do a quicker turnaround as well. You know, just kind of all, we'll just see how it plays out. You know, I'm game for whatever, and as long as my body's healthy and stuff, then I'm always ready to step in there.
Are you a bit disappointed it's just a fight night card and you're not on one of those pay-per-views in front of the fans?
I mean, a little bit, but at the same time, I look at it, especially since Max isn't fighting now, is a star has to be born that night, you know? And so that's all I'm thinking. That's what I've been telling people, like a star will be born that night. And I think my last win, first knockout, got a little bit of my momentum back going. And if I come out there and have a great performance this fight, I think a star will be born, and we'll be rocking and rolling after that.
Just the last thing I want to touch on is your brother. He hasn't fought since the loss. I actually thought he won that fight. Like, what kind of went through his head after that one?
It was a lot, you know. He was first ready to just get right back in there. He wanted to get that fight back. That guy missed weight, and you know, and then it was a split decision. So it's kind of like, man, like those get a little bit iffy, you know. But then he just had to just kind of sit in it. You know, that's kind of our thing. Like when you lose, you just got to sit in those emotions. You know, I think people want to jump right back in because they want to get rid of that feeling of being in a jail cell. Like you're just trapped in this and can't get it off your mind and can't like find any peace. But I think it's good to sit in that and live in those emotions and feel all the feelings and not try to just use something to make them go away. So he's grown a lot from it. I know he's still sitting it. I know he still feels like he's in a jail cell, but his time will come. You know, he'll be able to break free and show what he's all about. So yeah, he's doing good.
I think the worst part about that decision was if he wins that one, like he would have been right up in there for a short notice UFC call or like a guaranteed kind of Contender Series fight now.
He would have, but you know, he's only 25 now, and he's a young 25. He's always been immature. I've always been like, man, you gotta grow up. So realistically, his body and his mind is like a 23-year-old, you know. So he would have been right there for that, but maybe he wasn't ready. You know, one more year and try to get on the Contender Series next summer or something. I think that'd be perfect timing for him. You know, he doesn't have any kids, anything like that. There's no rush. As long as he continues working, I make sure he knows. Just because I say you're young, you gotta continue working all the time. As long as he continues working, I think next year hitting the Contender Series will be perfect timing for him.
Do you still let him know that the older brother can beat up the younger one, though?
I mean, I don't have to let him know anymore. He just already knows. I let him know by display in practice. No, we get back and forth. He's freaking strong as heck. Gets on my nerves, but yeah.
All right, well, Miles, I appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.